Here we go. Ayaz Ahmed. That's the number that I just entered. And it's also showing my phone number here. So click on Ayaz Ahmed. That's me, your client, and my client. I mean, I am my own client at the moment. It's showing me contact information and details. Here, you can do a couple of things. My race, it would be other Asian in my case. Language at home, let's say I didn't speak any English, it would be Punjabi, okay? And ethnicity, not of Hispanic or Latino origin. These are mandatory fields. So when you first collect my info, on the first page, first you get my contact, that is my first name and my last name, my telephone number, my zip code, and my race, ethnicity, and language. You will not be able to close a case without having at least these details in the case. Okay, and then just click save. You see there's a lot of things here. There's birth date, marital status, citizenship, housing status, country of origin. There's a lot of these fields. We're doing the basic, which is the minimum that you need to perform your work, casework, and or to close a case, open and close a case. So you can enter any information if you have it, if it's relevant to the case and you think we should know, or you should know, and it will help your agency, enter it. But this is the minimum that you're going to need. Now, save this. All this information has been saved. Your contact is Ayaz Ahmed. You've saved the fact that he's Asian, not of Hispanic, Latino, and the services provided or the language he speaks at home is Punjabi. Okay. See, the zip code is already marked me in a particular neighborhood. That's our office. I just gave the office zip code. So you actually have a case marked in New York City, New York State. Okay. Now, this is the details. We have not started the case. This is just my basic contact information and some demographic information. Very simple, 5 or 6 quick points. You're going to need it to build your case. Now, this is the page you have on me. There's nothing else. And now you want to talk about the case that you're working on, what the issue that brought me to you. So this is details of my contact, and then it says related. I know it's not sort of natural for you to assume that related means related to my contact, but here related means related to me. What is the case that we're building? So click on related. You see a lot of things, applicants, client case, enrollment, case roles. Ignore all of it. You're mostly not going to need any of these. So don't be intimidated by all these fields. The most important field here is client cases. You have my details, you have my contacts, you don't have a case for me. It says 0 cases. So that means even though I'm in the system, there's no case. So no work is counting towards what you're doing for me. So here we go. I'm going to click. It's a new case. Great. Of course, you will see not all of these. I'm seeing them at my end. So some of you will see Cha, Champ, CNN, McCap. Some of you will see Cha and McCap. Some of you will see ICANN and McCap, whichever is relevant. For the purposes of this training, because you're doing Cha, you will click on Cha. Okay? Community health advocates. Okay? Automatically, the contact that the case is for will be filled in automatically. in top. Okay, it's gonna easily mark the date of opening the case as today, but I'm gonna let you know that if you saw me last week, but you're only catching up with the data entry today, and you wanna make sure that you wanna correct this date, do it. So you saw me last week, Tuesday, here you go. First open date is 1st of March. It matters sometimes because you have to meet your monthly deliverables, your quarterly deliverables, and your annual deliverables. So sometimes if you don't have the correct date, your case could fall into the wrong month. Or worse comes to worse, it could fall into the wrong fiscal year, and maybe that will affect your reports, etc. But anyway, you are allowed to backdate your cases if that is the accurate reflection of your case. Case status is open, of course, because you're just opening the case. County, it's asking you what county I live in. So you go into, it should say Manhattan or New York County. Okay. Date distributed is not for you. Intake method. And here, this is kind of a little bit important. Did the client meet you in person? Usually, direct contact to case handler. They may call you. You can select that. Referral source example. Maybe they came to you through an outreach event. Pay attention to this. This is not a lot of work. This is just something that you should instinctively know when you're meeting with your client. Let's say you met me at an outreach event, and then I come to your office to meet you. So this is my story with you. I come to you and I was like, remember you said you gave me a flyer and you said I could meet you. I walked in. You're like, great. Ayaz, what's your name? What's your telephone number? Can you tell me about race, ethnicity, language? And you already know this is, you're not even asking me because you already know that you met me at an outreach event, or I am sent to you by a council member's office. You could click the government part here, maybe a council member's office sent me to you, said, we can help you, call someone at this CBO and they'll be able to help you. That's fine. That's it. Again, there's a bunch of fields here. You can continue to fill out if you have that info, but we're not looking for it. So minimum work is get the contact info, get the biographical details, start a case. So here is the start of the case. You're simply opening the case. So save the case. Step 1, we got Ayaz Ahmed's contact. Step 2 in Salesforce, you opened a case for me. Now, what is the case is the next step. Here we go. So there's a bunch of things you see here. You can actually make a note if you want to. The most important things that we're looking for here, the most important things that you must have. It says health plan, it's checked 0, needs 0, services 0, case notes 0. So here is a hypothetical Ayaz Ahmed case. I have Health First Medicaid managed care plan, or I have Health First Essential plan. Somebody helped me enroll into it. And I've gotten my card, I've gotten everything, and I'm having a problem finding a dermatologist. And Health First, I've called them, they've given me names of 5 dermatologists. When I call them, they say they don't take Health First. So I am getting stuck. And I'm here to tell you as an advocate that I'm actually having a major problem. Can you help me? Okay. So first, one of the most important things. I'm here with you. What's my health plan? We want to know. You hover over this field, hover over health plan, and this thing just kind of pops out. Click new, and it's already giving you options of everything that's available to a potential client. If I was a child, or maybe it's an issue for my child, then it's Child Health Plus. Is it a job-based plan? No. Is it essential plan? No. Is it Medicaid? Yes. Maybe sometimes you have to figure out whether I have Medicaid or essential plan, because I'm not aware that those are two distinct programs. Hold that thought, but I've come to you saying I have Medicaid. I've come to you saying I'm having a problem, so let's start with Medicaid. I have Medicaid, and you've checked Medicaid. You get next. Here, automatically is populating the case number that you see under client case. It's automatically there. You don't have to fill it out. What's the health insurance that I have? Medicaid managed care. Okay. I told you I have Health First, but you know I have Medicaid. Obviously, I have Medicaid managed care plan, and the insurance product, that is the name of the health insurance company. It is, nothing shows up here. Don't click on the plus. Just click in that box and start typing Health First. Health. It starts showing you plans called Metro Plus Health Plan, Affinity, Health First. It's going to give you options of all the plans available under Medicaid in your area. So here it's asking insurance ID, member ID, Medicaid category, start date, end date. Is all of those things may be relevant to your client's case? But in my case, the issue is that is not the relevant part. The part is I have active Medicaid. I'm having a hard time finding a provider. So start and end date of the program, the Medicaid eligibility is not the issue that I'm dealing with. So your person doing, reviewing your case doesn't need that info, okay? If that was relevant to this case, then we would like to know, when did the client start, Medicaid start, when did it end, has it ended, etc. No, but you're here for a very simple reason. You need to find a dermatologist. There's a bunch of things here, and you don't really need to fill those out unless they are relevant. In this case, they're not, and I'm giving you minimum work that you should do. Here we go. All we need under this is the name of the insurance company, what kind of program the client is on, Medicaid, Medicaid managed care, Health First. That's it. Save. Now health plan says 1, and when you hover over it, it says the client has Health First PHSP. What is the need that brought me to you? When you hover over need, there's nothing here. You're going to click New Need. My issue is access to care. It's the top need. It's that I'm having a hard time obtaining adequate healthcare services. I'm already insured and enrolled. Okay? Access to care. In my case, that's the issue. If I had come to you saying I have already seen a dermatologist, I have Medicaid, and I'm getting a bill, then the issue would be cost of care. Okay? If I come to you and I say, I don't like Health First because I have such a hard time finding doctors through them, and I want something else, then health plan enrollment where eligibility for health insurance is not at issue. Maybe I want you to advise me on how to change that insurance, etc. Any case, I've come to you with a very simple issue. It's my access to care issue, and I'm asking you to help me find a dermatologist. It's access to care. So I click access to care and I go next. Here, client cases automatically there, need is get new care. I don't have a dermatologist. I'm asking you to help me. That is new care. Services category is important here because I'm asking you to help me find a doctor. And what is the service? It's a specialist. Okay. Open date. Remember, I marked it as opening last week. So click last week. It was last week, Tuesday, you met me. So here, we're backdating the day you met me and the day you opened this need for me. Okay. Save it. There's a bunch of stuff happening down there. Again, no need to worry. There's a lot of fields in this database. We're going with the simplest thing that will make sense for an average case. Save it. Here is a need. So just to recap, you created my contact, my biographical info, you started a case, and now you're building the case. The first thing, what was my insurance? Health first. What was my need? My need was finding a specialist, which is accessing care and finding new care. Okay. And then what did you do for me is the service that you provided to me. Again, there is nothing there. We go here, hover over services. This pop-up comes up and you go to new. It's a new service. And what did you do for me? When I came to you and I gave you this info, you went on to Health First's website with me. You put in my zip code and you started calling the dermatologists in the area. First one was closed. Second one didn't have available appointments soon enough. Third one no longer worked at that office. So you realize that your client really has been having the problems that you're actually trying to solve, but you're running into them. Anyway, fourth one, they pick up and they're like, yes, we take Health First. And yes, we do have appointment available. And yes, we will see your client. You give them the client's name. You make an appointment. You tell the client to go and see this dermatologist day after tomorrow or whenever. And the client is happy. And you can let the client know, hi, Ayaz, once you see the doctor, just drop me a message, email me and let me know that you saw the doctor, and I'll close your case. That's it. So what you did was, this is not advocacy. You didn't have to argue or fight with anyone. It's not an application. It's not a complaint. It's not an enrollment issue. It's none of these. You gave me information about finding a doctor. I mean, you did more than just inform me, but that was the main service that was provided. You found information for me. You connected me to a provider through that information. I click information and I do next. What was the need? Again, don't worry about it. We have created a need already. Click on this and the need pops up. And with a little heart, that's the need that this service is being connected to. You did that, save. Okay? So, a couple of things. Now, you have my contact, you have my race and ethnicity and language info, which is needed to close a case. You have my health plan, you have my need, you have my service. So if somebody at CSS, which for you would be Catherine Curtis, if she looks at this case, yeah, she'll see that there's a health plan, there's a need, there's a service. Okay? But she knows that Ayaz Ahmed has Medicaid, Ayaz Ahmed needed some kind of specialist, and you gave some information. But it's not clear to Catherine what actually you did for Ayaz. It's info, it's data. It doesn't tell a story about what happened to Ayaz. Okay, here, let's say you didn't think that it's important because to you, in your head, this is a complete case. You try to close this case. Right here, there's a big close button. Close. I'm going to deliberately try to do it. It's not going to let me, but try to close this case. I hit close. I'm thinking the case is completed. I'm going to put today's date, closure reason, case completed. Save. It's not going to let me close this case. Okay? So I cancel it. It says there are no activities logged on this client's case. Cancel. Here on the right side of the screen, you see log a call. That's it. Whether you met me in person or you had an email with me, the function remains log a call. Okay? There is no, that's where you record your activity. There should be at least one activity recorded there. So you actually first met me last week. We don't know because you haven't logged a call. Here you click add. Don't worry, this is being attached to this open case. It's not going to go anywhere else. Subject remains call. The type of call, click. You actually met with me in person. Meeting. Time logged in. Maybe you spent 60 minutes, an hour with me. That's sometimes it happens that you end up spending that much time with a client. That's fine. So 60 minutes. Save this. Okay. So it says, actually, I did it for today. Edit. You can even edit this. You actually met me last week. And just for the sake of accuracy, this could be last week. So now it should show you last week's date, March 1st. Okay. March 1st, you met with me. And today you want to close the case because I called you a week later and I said, hey, by the way, I actually saw the dermatologist. Thank you very much. So first, you met me. Second, quickly, it was a quick touch base telephone. And that was a call. In 5 minutes. You told me today that you have met the dermatologist. So this is a closable case. Okay. Here we go. All of this has happened. The work is done. There are these little points here. You could hit close, and I don't think it will let me close the case. Close date, today's date, case completed, save. Is it going to let me? Oh, it did. Sorry. Hi. So that brings us to an interesting point. There is something which is the next part. So here we go. QA, quality assurance. There is a complete case that an advocate, me, have done about Ayaz Ahmed. And now I'm going to show you what happened at the other end. So the CBO, you don't have this. This is at our end. What we do, we are CSS. Record type is Shah. Owner is who is the person who made this case, Ayaz Ahmed. Status open date. Let's say it's for the month of. We're looking at March cases, and this is Catherine viewing you. Okay. Open date, sorry. Close date. All the cases, oh, sorry, I'm marking it. All the cases open between 3.1 and 3.09, filter. Why is it not showing?
Yaz, you know what's so funny?
What?
I actually don't do it this way. But
Oh,
I
you don't?
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm trying to get to the case where, okay, let me just go into the case
Mm-hmm.
where, yes, Ahmed, this is the case. It's a closed case. So this is, I just wanted to, I mean, it's not how we get to it, but I want to show them. So this case has been closed and it lets you close the case. You have met, you have given us all the information about Ayaz, your client. There's a number, there's biographical details, there is a health plan, there's a need, there's a service, there's a logged activity, and there is something missing here. You never put a case note. So Catherine will see this and say, what actually happened with Ayaz? And may send you an email, and say, can you add the case note that's missing because I don't know what actually happened to Ayaz. So hold on, I'm going to reopen this case. It should let me. Case. Sorry, cancel. I don't know why it let me close the case because I thought it wouldn't let me. Hi, I can take questions if that's not making sense, by the way.
I just want to add a reason why
Sure.
notes are so important, in addition to every other field that Ayaz spoke of, is that when we're writing the reports, we take what you write and include it in the reports, especially if we notice there's now if we don't have case notes or if we only have one line that doesn't give us a lot of information, it makes it really difficult to let the state know the work that you're doing. So it doesn't have to be long. We just want to know what the issue was, what steps you took to resolve it, and what the outcome was, essentially.
Absolutely. So let's say Catherine has emailed you already saying there's case notes missing. That's not a critique of your work. That's not saying that you didn't do the work. It's just saying, hey, can you fix this? And you're back into your case, which you had closed, but you will be able to make edits. Here it is. We'll be back in your case. Now I just reopened the case. Okay, here it is. There's no case note. Right on top, there is that log case note. Okay. Usually, my way of doing a case note is simple. First, I just put my initials, AA, and I just put the date, 3/8/2022. That's fine. It's automatically recording who and what date and what time you're recording a case note. I just do it because I've gotten into the habit of doing it that way. So I don't really have to look and analyze what date and what time the case note was entered because that's being put in there anyway. Or it's 3/1, even though you're entering it today. Here you can say, met client last week on 3/1. He said he was having a hard time finding a dermatologist. He has Health First, Medicaid Managed Care. You can use an acronym because we know what that is, but you can just put Medicaid. He has Health First Medicaid. I looked up 5 providers in his zip code, called 4, and he got an appointment with one of them day after tomorrow. Client will see him, her, and will let me know if will let me know. Like, I'll let you know. Like I said, I'll call you and say, I've seen the doctor. Thank you. Case, even if I told you that if you got me an appointment, that may be the end of this case. That's already, you've done the work. You can say, you can close my case and say, hey, by the way, go to the doctor. It seems like everything is fine. And if there's a problem, give me a call. Not that there's a problem, not like they're rude or whatever. I mean, that could be a problem. But the problem could be that I get there and they're like, oh, by the way, sorry, day before yesterday, the person who said we take Health First, she was wrong. We stopped taking Health First. Yes, you can call me back. But so sometimes cases like this, you can leave them open for a week and, until your client has actually fixed the issue that they came to you with. But here it is, and I can save it. Okay. Now, when Catherine is reviewing the case, there's a bunch of information here, but she's just going to look at this case note. And here it is, in 3-4 sentences, the entire narrative of the case. In simple words, met client last week on 3-1, said he was having a hard time finding a dermatologist. So it's speaking to each prong that you've entered. The case opened on 3-1. It mentions that client has Health First Medicaid Managed Care, which you recorded. You had said the need was to access care. Here is the description of that need: having a hard time finding a dermatologist, accessing care, finding a specialist. Services provided, here it is. Looked up 5 providers in his zip code, called 4 of them, got an appointment with one of them day after tomorrow. Client will see her and will let me know. Now, this case may be closed, and at our end, when somebody's reviewing it, you will not get any email saying that we're going to ask you to reopen this case, etc., etc., etc. This case is a simple, beautiful, open and shut case. Let's say another thing that you did when I came to see you was you asked me other questions. You asked me, why is it that you actually had something like a dermatologist before, but now you're unable to see that dermatologist? And I asked you, what was your insurance? And you're like, Health First. It was Health First. And they told me that they don't take Health First anymore. And I ask you more probing questions, and I say, like, what do you mean you had Health First? And you're like, oh, I used to pay $110 for it, and then now they are not charging me anything. And I realized that if you were paying $110, you were likely on the qualified health plan and not on Medicaid. So I tell you, Ayaz, actually, maybe the provider who took the qualified health plan was in network with the qualified health plan, and they're not in the Medicaid network. So that's what happened. So you helped me find a dermatologist. You also helped me understand my health insurance. So here's a need. You gave me You helped me act with my access to care issues, but you did another thing for me too. Here you go. You helped me understand health insurance. Okay. That was not related to that access of care issue. That was just my question that I used to have a dermatologist and he said he doesn't take it anymore. And what actually happened? So I made you understand that they may have different networks. I click understanding health insurance, next. Same need. It was understand health insurance. Understand health insurance, subheading, understand health insurance. Such a broad range. So here we go. You actually have a health plan, you have two needs, you have one service. This is a closable case. Everything I needed to know about it is in the case notes. And I can click close and today's date and save it. And it's a complete case. Catherine?
I'm here.
Okay. Any questions?
And I just want to add once more. I'm glad that Ayash showed that.
Sure.
That's an easy need for most of you. In most cases, you do explain and help a client understand their health insurance. So if you at some point do, please note that.
Exactly, because it is accurately capturing the work that you did. So as you can see, it looks like there's a lot of things that you're doing by entering this little data point. Once you actually get used to it, this happens within minutes, literally. It's important. I mean, of course, sorry, I actually have a cold. I did a COVID test this morning. I don't have COVID. Not that you would get it from me, from being on Zoom, but in case anybody was concerned, I'm actually fine. So, but of course, I believe that the most important thing is what we actually do with the clients, for our communities, for our clients. And that is great. That's where a lot of the work should be spent. And you should also you'll get paid to do some sort of work. And this is a way of capturing not only your work accurately, but also it helps with trend spotting. It helps with, let's say, this was one client. I come to you in the zip code 10017. And then we're running a report and we're like, health first. And basically, we get a lot of calls about health first, where people have a hard time finding specialists. We can see a trend. We can spot a trend. We can bring it up with health first. We can bring it up with the relevant authorities and say, why is there this issue with this company? And we are able to do that because of the work that you do in the communities and the work that you capture in this database. And like Catherine just said, you didn't just help me access healthcare, you also helped me understand my health insurance. That's nearly always the case. When you're working with the client, you're also helping them understand how these systems actually work. What if the issue was that the client was unable to, that I was unable to see a dermatologist because I didn't know that I need a referral? I don't think for Health First you need a referral, but maybe I found a dermatologist and they keep telling me to get a referral for my primary care doctor. And my primary says, but you don't need my referral to go to a specialist. Maybe it was that issue. So still, it was an access to care issue, but you helped me understand some part of it that wasn't necessarily access to care, but generally understanding health insurance. And that's going to be one of the most common things that you do. So yeah, when you meet a client, it's easily not just one need, two, and sometimes three needs. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you're totally right.
Anybody with a question?
There are a couple of questions. I saw a hand raised and there's one question in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see.
Should I stop my screen sharing? Because I can't see the questions if I'm sharing screen.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's fine. I can stop it and I can restart screen share.
And feel free to
Okay.
yourself if you just want to ask a question as well. But I'll read the one that's in the chat first. Someone, Cheryl had a
Okay.
question.
I see.
Often when people have Medicare and Medicaid or Medicare and VA benefits, the types of VA benefits still confuse. If they had one insurance in January and then in February they had a new plan, do we enter both if the problem is because the hospital did not know who to bill?
So let's say, so these are 3 or 4 different types of insurances. So let's say if a client has Medicare and Medicaid, that client, there is a part where I'll show you actually. Thank you, Cheryl, for asking this question. Share screen here. Here. So first, I'm just going to reopen this. Close case, but open. Ignore this part. If the client comes to you and has Medicare and Medicaid, let's assume that there was nothing here. This is Medicaid managed care. Okay, let me delete this. Delete. Let's assume my story is basically the same. I came to you and I actually have a dual plan, Medicare/Medicaid, or my issue is Medicare. So let's see, new. Here, first, there is an option if your client has both Medicare and Medicaid. Okay? That would be Medicare, Medicaid. Next. Health insurance, Medicaid Advantage, Medicaid Advantage Plus, etc. That would be the, I don't know why FIDA still exists there, just Medicaid Advantage is fine. And insurance product, let's say I had the Health First. Do they have? Maybe they don't have one. Maybe I had Fidelis dual plan. Okay, that's what I have. So the issue would be I had Fidelis plan. Now, there's another way of looking at it. I actually had I have original Medicaid, original Medicare and straight Medicaid, fee for service. Then you can enter both. Health plan, first, new, and the issue was I have Medicare, that's the one. Health insurance, original Medicare, save. And then, yes, you can enter new, and I have Medicaid. New, health insurance, Medicaid fee for service. So let's say I come to you and I have Medicare and Medicaid, but the thing that was happening was I was having a hard time finding a doctor who takes Medicaid, because I need to see a doctor who takes Medicare as primary but takes Medicaid as secondary. And that's what you're helping me with. Then once we see health plans, of course, let's say Catherine is reviewing the case, it will say original Medicare and Medicaid fee for service. But then your notes must also reflect that. Instead of, the notes would say client met me, client has Medicare and Medicaid. We already assume that Medicare and Medicaid, how they work is that Medicaid is the payer of last resort, and that's fine. So as long as you're accurately capturing, and when they have two insurances, feel free to put the health plan, two insurances as your client's insurance. So, and then you said something else. You said the client has VA benefits?
Yes, that was written there.
Okay. So Shmita, it really depends on, hold on one second. Let me finish with Cheryl's question. If she has a hard time finding VA benefits. So VA benefits exist sort of on their own. So you may have certain VA benefits and the services are provided within a VA facility. So you can have clients who come to you with Medicare issue. They have Medicare. They are being treated at Bellevue Hospital. And then it turns out that they also are a veteran and they also get treated at the VA hospital or VA facility, which is like right around the corner from Bellevue. So you can do that, but there the issue is who are they having an issue with? And as an agency, if you see a VA, if you're having an issue with VA benefits, reach out to somebody at CSS because those VA benefits are very, very particular. And there are people who actually work with veterans. In my experience, I have barely ever had to deal with VA, except client didn't realize that the VA benefit that they were trying to access was only available at a VA facility. And they usually have caseworkers, they usually have people that they're connected with. So you can reach out. I mean, I can't imagine a particular scenario. I have seen clients with VA benefits who were having dental issues, but they wanted to go to a dentist and VA wasn't going to pay them. And VA said if they need to see a dentist, then they need to come to a VA facility. And I told the client that that's what they were supposed to do. Okay. If the client's insurance has changed and the client didn't realize, and again, this is with Cheryl, then put the insurance that is current and accurate. Okay, client comes to you and says, I'm getting billed, but I have Medicaid. And when you call the provider, they say, we have that on file that he has Fidelis QHP. And you're like, actually, the client has now gotten Medicaid. So you put the Medicaid plan and you update the information with the provider. Yeah. So you're capturing the accurate plan that the client currently has, put it in the notes that seemed to be the issue, and that should be fine. I hope that helps. So Shmita, how long does it take to review the case so that we can expect possible end date of the case? For this case that we just walked through today, it is closable by the time I leave, really. You can just the data you're entering. So in this case, technically I saw you last week and I called you today to let you know that I've actually seen a doctor. Thank you for helping me and we're done. You close the case. If I came to you and the issue was a fair hearing, and then you're helping me somehow with the fair hearing, you're going to prepare me for a fair hearing, Medicaid is denying something, and you requested a fair hearing, then the case can stay open until there is a decision. Or I come to you with a bill for $40,000, you call the hospital and they're like, we didn't have insurance info on file. You give them the info. They're like, we're going to rebuild the insurance company. Let's say I had a qualified health plan with a $600 deductible. And that means that first they're billing my insurance. My insurance is going to pay, but I might still be responsible for a portion of that bill. And we don't know how much that's going to be. So Sushmita tells me, Ayaz, I've given them your info, everything is cleared, but they're going to send you an updated sort of bill, which may be for your deductible, and come back to me in about 2 to 3 weeks because you should receive that in the mail, and I'll come back to you. So keep the case open until that issue is resolved. Maybe you're going to help me apply for hospital financial assistance at the end of, once I actually have an accurate bill after my insurance is paid. So it really depends how long a case can stay open. Depends on the case. But majority of the very simple cases will close very quickly.
Yeah. And then if the question is about when do I review the cases, I do random samples throughout the quarter. And then when I ask for everyone to close it before the report, I take the whole month to look at the cases. And usually what I do is I input something into Salesforce if I think you should review your case, and you should receive an email from Salesforce to review your case if I find an issue. Are there any other questions?
Right.
I know 4 o'clock. If any of you can stick around, I think a great breakdown would be what is considered a CHA case versus what is not considered a CHA case. I know that's something that comes up often. I know some of you are navigators as well. If any of you have questions about that, and Ayaz, if you have time, like a little bit more time, I think that's a great thing to break down.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. I will do a brief share. So, what is a CHA case? Like Catherine brought up, like your agencies often come up with this issue. It is, what is the scope of service that you did? First, is it part of scope of service? That's what is CHA supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be helping clients with access to care issues, cost of care issues, access, affordability, adequacy, etc., and eligibility for healthcare issues, health insurance programs, etc. That's part of your scope of services. Community health advocates, that's what we do. So first, the case must be what CHA scope of services. It can't be a case that the client is suing their landlord about a fire hazard issue. That's not a CHA case. But if the same client is having an issue with their Medicare, eligibility issues, and they can't afford their Medicare premiums, and their income makes them MSP eligible, and that's what you're helping them with, it's a CHA case. So in short, there's a lot of healthcare access, eligibility, adequacy. Those are the 3 AAAs that you can remember easily. If that criteria is satisfied, it's a CHA case, really. If you enroll somebody on New York State of Health, the actual enrollment into New York State of Health for qualified health plan, for Medicaid, for CHIP, for essential plan, that's not a CHA case, okay? Your agencies either have a contract somewhere where they're being paid to do the enrollment work, which is what is done by navigators, etc., as well as application counselors. So that is not a CHA case. If you're being paid to do that work elsewhere, that's not a CHA case. CHA case would be, but the client who got Medicaid, let's say I was at your agency and you helped me enroll into Health First, and I was very happy and I left. Then 2 months later, I'm back at your agency and I'm saying I'm having a hard time finding a dermatologist under Health First. I'm coming to you with a CHA case. Even that's not an issue with the New York State of Health. That's not an issue about enrollment on New York State of Health. It is an issue of utilizing my existing health insurance. That's not, that's not an issue on what do you call it? It's not a New York State of Health issue. If it was a Medicaid application at local district, which would be HRA in New York City, and you help me do an application, if you help me do an application for Medicare Savings Program, if you help me do an EPIC application, elderly pharmaceutical insurance coverage, if you help me buy a dental policy you can't buy dental policy on exchange if you're a Medicare recipient. Let's say you help me do that. That's a CHA case. What you're doing on New York State of Health, the enrollment and uploading the documents for approval, et cetera, that's not a CHA case. CHA cases would be post-enrollment. It could be even pre-enrollment, where there is somebody meets you. I mean, as long as it's not really like everyone whose advice that you provide while you're reviewing their case, you're counting it as an enrollment as well as a CHA case. As part of the navigator's work is also figuring out whether the client fits into, EP or Medicaid, et cetera. So it is really that work. So good rule of thumb, client is enrolled or is having access, eligibility issues, adequacy issues, and affordability issues. I just like to remember that AAA, which you kind of learn in healthcare policy and public health classes. So that is, does that make sense? I'm happy to take a question about that.
Thanks so much, Ayaz. And I just want to add, today, actually, I spoke to a CHA coordinator and confirmed with the director of the Navigator program. If you are a navigator and a CHA advocate, and let's say you have a client that you enroll, and then a week later they come with a question about the insurance that you helped enroll them in, you can count one as a navigator case because you helped them enroll, and then the week after you take that as a CHA case. It's the same client, but it's two different things. So just I hope that's clear. Any questions?
Absolutely. And I'm assuming that if anyone has a question about cases like that, and if you're getting confused, feel free to reach out to Catherine, because she's the person who's, currently supervising your cases. And Catherine can, if she should be able to answer that question, whether it's a CHA case or not, or she can figure out internally whether it is a CHA case with, Diane or Nakia, etc.
Exactly. Please reach out. We want you guys to get credit for the work that you do. And I'm sure that you might have questions that come up, so please reach out. I'm always available. Are there any other questions? I want to give you all an opportunity to just ask. And if you have questions after this, please. All right, everyone. Well, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, it looks like there's one case. One question. If the return
Okay.
needs assistance in changing on the NISO application. Will that count as a CHA case?
Where is the question? I don't see it.
On the chat?
Oh, I see the chat, but I don't see that question.
Oh, it's for me. Sorry. No, they sent it directly to me. If the returning client needs assistance in changing on the NISO application. No, if it has to do with the NISO application, and Ayaz, feel free to correct me. That is not a CHA case.
You're right. That's not a CHA case. If there's a mistake on the NISO application, sorry, why is my computer acting up? If there's a mistake on the NISO application, let's say incorrect name, incorrect income, it's still an ISO issue. If it's a navigator issue that's supposed to be corrected through NISO, it is not a CHA case. Mm-hmm. A mistake made on the NISO application is an ISO issue, and you can't be credited for that in.
Great. All right.
I believe that everyone who's part of CHA network who does enrollment is in sort of this enrollment. They do have contracts somewhere where they're being paid for New York State of Health work.
Yeah.
Among my agencies, there are a couple of them that don't. They have trained application counselors, but they don't get paid to do that work. So it's a little tricky because they can then count them. But basically, you're not supposed to double dip the same client in different programs unless they're distinctly different programs. So yes, for your purposes, if there is a question, reach out and ask without assuming. But yeah, don't count your NISO cases as CHA cases.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ayaz, for providing this training.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So that concludes our training for today. And just a reminder, please enter all for the entire year, which is April 2021 to March 31st by April 4th. I believe that was the date that I said. And please check the follow-up email that I sent recently. It has the dates and everything that we're looking for. But thank you, everyone. Take good care.